Hi, good morning, everyone. Just shuffle my coffee table and computer on stool a little bit. Don't know why the frame is never the same. Okay. Can you see all of me? Just about. Great. Welcome. I just gonna turn my phone off. Hopefully you can see me. So, sorry. Couple of messages. Hi, Ben. Hi, Celine. Hi, Sharon. Marianica, everybody. Thank you for joining me again. So I don't know how you're feeling after Tuesday. I feel it all the way here. I don't know what's happening with me. I think my core is quite strong already. Anytime we're doing those kind of exercise, like we did on Tuesday, rather than feeling them in my abdominal muscles, I always feel them in my ribs and even right down into the side of the waist. So I think those, one-legged planks and knee crunches, they're responsible for that. So that's good, right? But today we're going to stretch more than strengthen. So got a couple of requests for neck and shoulders, which I think is always a good thing for everybody. We carry a lot of weight in our shoulders, mostly the weight of our head. And then we might just have a look at stretching those side muscles, do a little backward stretch to stretch the front if any of you are feeling it in the abdominal muscles, and a couple of lower back things because that's always good for most people as well. So let's just start standing whichever way you like. Maybe feet together, knees soft. Gently drawing the tailbone down. Don't engage anything too strong. Today we're going to focus on lightness and softness. So notice your breath. You don't need to hold your lower belly. You can breathe all the way down into your belly. But just make sure you don't let yourself sag too much. And as you inhale, you bring a little lightness. So more than a strong engagement, the feeling of like rising up. And exhale, just checking that you can relax everything that can be relaxed, especially the shoulders, the neck. One thing about what's creating a lot of tension in our shoulders is carrying the weight of our own head. It's quite heavy, right? It's big, there's a big skull, there's a lot of bone in it. And if we're holding ourselves a little bit like this, which a lot of people do, it's kind of, part of like, especially if you're working, you're on a computer, you're going to have your head like this, and your shoulders are going to come up just to try and hold this, because the muscles that are tying your head up are down, your trapezius muscle down into your back down there. So the first thing you can do to help yourself is try and like gently draw the top of the skull or the base of the skull. Just if you bring your fingers, like there's a little hollow shape in the base of our skull, and like where you can find your last vertebra. And then, so you're drawing this kind of this direction, right, towards the edge between the sternum behind you. And then you let your chin come a little in. And you take a breath here. And initially it might feel like a little hard, but try and rest in that position. So if you feel yourself, it's kind of the same, like we have a tendency to be a little bit like this. So whether the hips go a little too forward, sometimes we might even be a little bit with the hips too far back. So we're just going to try and line up. So just to kind of get the breath starting, I'm going to do a couple of like arm movements. So we're just going to inhale, slowly raise your arms up. Exhale. As you're drawing your arms down, you might feel that you can draw your head back. Keep your head steady at the start. Notice what's happening in your body. And then very gently, you might draw the chin upward as you're looking up, inhaling, and exhaling, lengthening the back of the neck, looking down. So you keep your arms shoulder level apart. If it feels good, you can bring the palms together at the top. Next exhale, we'll stay down. We're going to inhale the arms to the front. And as we inhale the arms to the front, we might push the hips forward, exhaling the arms out to the side. So inhaling and exhaling. So try and focus on finding a curve in your spine. As you inhale, you might arch back a little bit. But as you exhale, you find length. So you always look for length before you look for bend. One more. And exhale, come back to center. And let's inhale the arms out to the side with your palms facing up. And breathe here and notice if you can move your head ever so slightly, drawing the top of the neck a little up and back and the chin a little in and down without creating tension. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend the elbows and interlock the fingers behind our head. We're just going to breathe in that position, trying to really soften the shoulders down. You can really let some of the weight of your head come into your hand. Gently push back into the hands. Push the elbows back. As you inhale, you might draw the chest forward, draw the elbows back, look slightly further down. And exhale, come back to a more neutral position when your shoulders really relax. Just show you from this side. So inhaling and exhaling. So I inhale, I arch, but I draw my chin down, so I really lengthen the back of my head, and I feel like I'm drawing my skull up with my hand. As I exhale, I just relax. And exhale, relax, and bring it down. Now let's inhale all the way up. Interlock your fingers and move your feet a little wider than your hips. Be nice and steady. So you can inhale here, really stretch up. As you exhale, let your head come down onto one arm and push your hips to the opposite side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, head comes down and rest on the arm first. And then I push my hips to the side. I push on my outside foot. So slowly moving with the breath, breathing slowly. Notice if you're bringing more arch into your neck or your lower back. And inhale, come back. And see if we can hold the elbows. If you need to relax your arms, shake them in between poses. Always, listen to your body first and take a break. And you can always replay those videos at a later stage and only do the stretches that worked best for you and skip what doesn't. Now we're going to hold the elbows and try to really lower the shoulders. I'm going to turn my head all the way to the right and inhale here. As I exhale, I let my left shoulder relax. On the next inhale, turn my head back to center. Exhale, turn it to the other side and let the right shoulder relax. And inhale, come back. Relax the arms, shake them. Let's interlock the fingers behind the body. Soften the knees. Make sure, have a look at your feet. Keep your feet parallel, so toes pointing towards the front of your mat. If you bend your knees, they're pointing around the same line as your feet. And you're going to try not to tilt your pelvis too much. So standing nice and tall, let's inhale, stretch the arms back. And as we exhale, softening the knees, coming into a forward bend, letting the hands come away from the back. Inhale, press into your feet, come back up. And exhale, change the cross of your fingers so the other thumb comes to the front. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, slowly come down. Inhale, slowly come up. Exhale, change the cross of your fingers. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, soften the knees, engage the core so that you can feel your back strengthening and lengthening. And inhale, come back. Exhale, change the hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Now, if that's comfortable, we can stay here. See if you can draw the palms of your hands together. If it's way too much, you can hold like your wrists or your elbows. Just focus on drawing the arms, the elbows, back away from you. Find the balance over your thighs. Keep your legs quite bent. As you're breathing, let the movement take the crown of your head down, neck nice and relaxed. Inhale, slowly come all the way up. Exhale, change the cross of your hands. Inhale, look up, draw the hands down. Exhale, come back into another forward bend. Notice your feet, if there's any tension in the feet. And inhale, come back up, relax the arms. Let's come to the front of your mat. Inhale, stretch your arms all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands in front of you, try and bring the elbows together. Now holding this, if it's a lot on your shoulders, then don't make it so strong, If you're here, see if you can turn your head all the way to one side. Inhale to the center. And exhale, turn the way to the other side. So again, you're really slowing your breath. As you exhale, you let shoulders be heavy. Next, inhale, come back to center. Bring your hands up and see if you can let your thumb come towards the back of your neck with your elbows coming up. Now, you might not be really far, you might be here, or you can try and bring your forearms together behind your head without bringing tension in your neck. As you inhale, you're drawing the elbows towards the ceiling. As you exhale, you're softening everything you can. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring the hands down to your side. Now again, interlocking the fingers behind your back. Let's bring the left thumb on top of the right thumb. Inhale, lengthen the hands away from you. As you exhale, see if you can bring your fists to the side of your waist. And you're going to breathe here and maybe do very slow neck circles, and find as you're circling, you might move from side to side. You might find that it's quite nice to let the head come towards the fists. So again, you're looking for length. And you're feeling that you're drawing the left hand behind you, the left shoulder down, and feeling the stretch on the left side of the neck. Check that your weight is aligned over your feet, that you haven't locked your knees. And inhale, slowly come up. Exhale, bring your hands back behind you. Change the cross of your fingers, so right thumb over left thumb. Inhale, lengthening the arms away from us. And as we exhale, bring the fists to the side, to the left side of the waist. So again, we can start with neck circles. Like there's some parts of the body that are really have a tendency to, seize a little bit. So whenever you move, making neck circles, you want to really be mindful and move really slowly. Sometimes just a little side to side at the bottom feels nice on the back of the neck. And then coming back to center. And maybe just letting the left ear come towards the left shoulders. Right shoulders coming down. Checking that the rest of the body is aligned. And breathing into the stretch. So you let that right arm relax behind you. Right shoulders really loosening as you exhale. And inhale, slowly come to center. Exhale, relax your arms. And I just do one vinyasa to bring us to the floor. So inhaling, stretching all the way up. Exhaling, softening our knees, coming into a forward bend. Let's inhale to straight back. Exhale, bringing the hands onto the floor, moving your feet back and dropping your knees. Let's just move down into a child pose. So pushing the hips towards the heels and first letting the head rest down. So you can shuffle a little bit at the start. Find a place where your upper body can relax onto your thighs. If it's not comfortable on your neck, you can bring your hands underneath your forehead or you can use a little cushion or a book or a yoga block. Then the next inhale, coming back to hands and knees. And take the left hand and thread it under the right armpit. So I'm letting down on my right elbow. And I'm going to bring my shoulder maybe close to the floor as it goes, trying to keep my hips square and my legs square. Then I'm reaching my chest to face towards the side. If it's comfortable, I can extend the right arm again. I can still have like a little cushion under my head if that feels better. And as we're twisting, which means our hips are facing down, our chest is facing towards the right. As I inhale, I'm going to try and visualize the line of my spine so that it's twisting over pretty much a straight axis. And then as I exhale, I can deepen a little more into the stretch. If you feel more steady, you can keep your toes tucked under. Find how will this work better for you. Really soften your stomach on the exhale. On the next inhale, slowly bring your right hand back towards your shoulders, push on it. Come back to hands and knees. Maybe taking a few breaths here. Just aligning the spine in a tabletop. Noticing what's working to keep your head from, falling towards the floor. And taking an inhale, and on the exhale, bringing the left hand under the right arm, bending the right elbow so you can drop your shoulder onto the floor. Maybe you keep your hands close enough so that you can use that as a gentle leverage to lift your left side of your rib cage up. Or maybe you're going to extend that hand over your head. Breathe deeply in this side. So breathe along the sides of your neck, which obviously, you're breathing through your nose or through your mouth, mostly through your nose if you can. But as you're feeling the length of your breath, you let your awareness move up and down the muscles along the side of your neck and see if you can relax them. If there's anything that you hold tension in that you don't need to. And on an inhale, slowly coming back to center, walking your hands back in, swinging your feet to one side to come to a seated position. We're going to keep the feet in front of us for now. So whichever way is comfortable, not too close, not too far. And then bring the hands behind the hips. So I'm trying to not have my hands too far out to the side, but rather underneath my shoulders. If I can, I point my fingers forward. If it's really not good for your wrist, you might point them back, but just be mindful of, all the joints in your body. So your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders. And first, I'm just going to breathe, extending the line of my spine in a straight line. So I might put a little weight back into the hands. Feel the weight in the sit bones. And then slowly I'm going to bring the elbows further back. And as I inhale, I'm going to bring the chest forward. I'm going to see if I can keep my head quite neutral. So if it feels good, I can draw the chin towards the ceiling. But if it feels like it's bringing pressure into the back of the neck, I'm going to just let my head rest over the center of my chest. And then exhale, coming back, sitting over my legs. And then extend the legs. And bring the hands back below. As I'm holding onto my core, I'm going to slowly roll down onto my forearms. I'm just going to breathe here and feel like I'm moving my arms back and my chest up. So again, all of those poses, you can do very slight movement with your head. Just to notice whether it's stuck in position or if it's bringing tension. If it feels good, you can even let it hang back. So we're arching the spine, creating a back bend. So we want to find length in the spine. And on an exhale, slowly drawing the lower back towards the floor, the chin towards the chest, and bending the knees a little, pushing into the hands. Come back to sitting. Now I'm going to come and bring the soles of our feet together. So however close to you as they get, take a moment to feel your breath. Sit nice and straight. Notice where your head is, if it's hanging a little too forward. And trying to line, it's very different for different morphologies, but try to line the tip of your nose with the breastbone. So you got to really draw your face back. And again, trying to draw that little hollow in the top of your neck, bottom of your skull. You're drawing this back and up. You can close your eyes or look at a point somewhere past your toes. And then while you're keeping that alignment of nose kind of roughly over your breastbone and crown of the head lifting up as the back of your head also lifts up. Let's see if we can, as we exhale, soften the hip joints and notice the tilt of your pelvis. So it's your pelvis that's moving rather than your spine. So as you inhale, you might draw the front of your body up and forward. And as you exhale, you might just feel that little tilt of the pelvis. So your tailbone goes back, your pubic bone goes down. So really trying to do this without using a lot of arm strength, without letting your head reach forward. So if I come back to the side, and if your hips are quite stiff, this could really be invisible, you know? But as long as you feel something, then it's okay. And if you feel like it's not even moving at all, then just have that intention where you're rolling towards the front of your sit bones. Exhale, check that your head is in place, maybe draw the head back a little. Take an inhale, really lengthen. And then on the exhale, let yourself round this time. Notice what happens in your hip bones. Like my hips seem to roll back. And I get the stretch more along the line of my spine than inside my hips. So I'm just going to let my head really relax. So I'm not using any strength in my shoulders to hold my head. It's tied on, it's not going to fall off. I can keep very gently drawing the chin towards my throat so I can feel the stretch on the back of the neck. I lengthen my breath. Let go with every exhale. Notice what's happening in the body. Some muscles are slowing down, loosening. Notice which ones. And as I inhale and slowly gonna look forward, straighten my spine, come all the way up. And I'm gonna keep my feet where they are, so quite far away from my hips. Maybe use my hands for support and cross my ankles. And then from here, without drawing my feet towards me, I'm gonna move them outwards, not inwards, more like sideways. And if your hips are quite tight, then your knees are going to rise up and maybe you're only going to be here. So just find a comfortable position where you can relax your hips, your knees, bring the hands on top of the legs. Whichever leg is on top, it's my right leg. I'm going to inhale and exhale, bring my left hand or my outside hand to my top leg. Then I'm bring my other hand behind me. I'm just going to breathe into a gentle twist. So again, you can notice, you can play with the angles in your body. If you can breathe, and if you feel that like by modifying the pose, you can breathe deeper, then you're doing it right. If you feel like any kind of pinching sensation, any part where you can't breathe as well, then you're doing it wrong. If you don't know how you're breathing, then you're doing it wrong. Anything else in your body, in the poses, like you can't really do it wrong. It's about being aware. So try and find that softness, lightness. Maybe you're going to be leaning on the backhand a little bit. If that helps you to keep your spine straighter, get a better stretch, a better twist, that's fine. Just make sure you don't put tension on the parts that you're lying on, so the wrist or the finger. Keep relaxing your shoulders down. And take a deep inhale wherever you are. As you exhale, come back to center. Bring your feet back together. Maybe doing a little butterfly movement, loosening the hips. And then coming back. So crossing the other leg on top, whichever it was. It's now my left leg. Again, without bringing the feet towards my hips. So there's a lot of, like, there's nearly a foot between my feet and my hips. So I'm going to cross my ankles here, and I'm going to wiggle them sideways, not in towards me. And everybody's going to be different, and like they might, eventually you can bring your feet level to the other knee, but maybe not. Might take a while, might take a few more classes. So take a breath in the center. Sit nice and tall. Inhale tall and exhale. Bring the outside hand over the top leg. And the same thing happens in this side. If you want to lean back on the backhand, you do so. You're trying to find length, trying to find that vertical line between the center of your hips, the center of your chest, and the center of your head. And to twist around that line. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to twist more. Taking a deeper inhale, and exhale, slowly come back. Now let's keep your bottom leg where it is. Lean on that side and see if you can bring the knee of the other leg towards the heel. And then kind of sit back this way. Now this is where, I don't know how you're doing. So it's kind of half kneeling, half open. So you can keep your feet as far away from you as you need. And, keep the notion of length in your spine, and then maybe bring the feet back towards the hips. And see if we can breathe towards the center of our hips. So wherever we are. And if you need your hand for support here, then that's okay. Or a little towards the front, or really coming up onto the fingertips. And you're trying to relax your hips down. And then very slowly, you're going to turn your chest towards the front leg. So it's my right leg. Then on an exhale, I'm going to try, so I was trying to turn away from the outer thigh. Now I'm going to come and face that thigh. I'm going to inhale here. And as I exhale, as I'm grounding my right sit bone into the ground, I'm slowly coming over this leg. So wherever it feels comfortable in your body. Again, keeping the shoulders relaxed, the neck relaxed. Inhaling, slowly coming up. And exhaling, turning back towards the other leg. See if we can inhale, facing towards the hips again. As we exhale, I'm going to take my left hand and bring it all the way around my waist. I'm going to grab on to the inside of my right elbow. And that right hand then could be just on your hip, or if you can reach onto the right ankle. I'm just going to breathe into the other side, and I'm trying to keep my so that foot in line with my calf. Try not to have the foot ankle out. Like the sit bone, the left sit bone is up from the floor. And I'm twisting here, but mostly I'm stretching my left shoulder. Inhale, stand taller. Exhale, relax. See if you can reach your fingers behind you. Gently lean back and lifting the hips up to stretch the front of the left thigh. So again, being careful of any pressure into the knee, into the feet. So you're going to try and lengthen away from the top of your left knee. So you want to lift your tailbone, stretch the front of the body. And exhale. Slowly come down. Walk your hands in. Tilt your weight onto the right leg. Turn back. And let's take the position into the other side. So left leg, well, my left leg, I'm not sure which side you did, is kind of like cross-legged, and the other leg is like kneeling. My right foot is in line with my right shin. I'm just gonna take a moment. So again, you could be over here. As long as you find side like that you're not crunching any part of your body, that's quite okay. So breathing into the center. And then exhaling, turning over the front leg, the one that's folded in front of you. Taking a twist here. Letting the shoulders come down. So shoulder blades down along the back of the body. Top of the arms away from the ears. Head over the center of your chest. Or align with that, chest and hip line. And inhale. Come back to center. You can adjust yourself, be comfortable here. And then bring the right hand behind you. Come and grab the inside of your left elbow. Left hand goes wherever it works. And then just gently twist over the right side, mostly focusing on opening that right shoulder. See if you can gently push your ribs back against the right forearm so that you're not really arching your spine. You feel the stretch in the front of the chest. And inhale, slowly come back. Checking that your foot is in line with your right shin. Maybe bringing the hands back. And you're trying to keep your hands in line with that right thigh. Lifting the hips up, feeling the stretch in the front of the right hip. And exhale, slowly come down. Let's walk your hands forward. And come to lie on your tummy. So you can bring your big toes together. And a little cushion for your head. And just notice the feelings in your body. And inhale, lift your head. Bring your inner thighs together. The base of your big toes and your heels together. So you can lengthen the legs away from you. And then press the front of your hips into the ground, but without tightening your buttocks too much. You're going to push up onto the forearms. Keep the left hand underneath you and come hold your foot with your left hand. So you might stay here or gently draw the heel towards just the outside of the right thigh. You can keep your elbow going up if it's comfortable. If you've got length, you can let your head rest back down onto the floor and just focus on lengthening the front of the right thigh. So feel that like it's not happening in your lower back. Your hips are still heavy on the floor. You're not like really tightening anything, but you're putting more weight into the front of the hip. And then you might like engage a little bit the lower abdomen. So like you're kind of like trying to lift the lower belly away from the floor. I mean, you're not like it's flat on the floor, but it's that action. And on an exhale, slowly release. Bring your hand under your head or come and prop yourself onto the right forearm. Turn to get the left foot. And again, stretching the front of the thigh. So staying upright in the forearm if that feels better, or if you need the length. Or if it's comfortable, then rest your head back on your hands. Try not to feel it in your knee, so you don't want your foot to come too close to your bum if that's creating pressure in your knee. Like really drawing like there's a tiny, ever so small tilt of the pelvis where your tailbone goes kind of down towards your heels and your pubic bone goes into the floor. So that avoids the stretch to come into your lower back and really keeps it into the front of the thigh. And exhale, slowly relax. Come back to center. Come onto your forearms. And here you can either do, again, the leg that feels like it needed the most. Or if you can reach, then bring both feet into your hands. Balance your head on your chin or even on your forehead. And whether you're doing one leg or both, the same applies. So pubic bone draws towards the ground. Maybe you turn your head to one side if it feels nicer. You can also lift your shoulders away from the floor and bring your elbows up and back so that you get a lengthening of the front of the shoulders. Notice your breath. And on an exhale, slowly relax. And turn onto your back. I'm going to just turn this way. And get a little bit of the outer thigh. So bring the right knee to your chest. And breathe here for a few breaths. Maybe extend the left leg away. So exhaling, the right knee closer to the chest. Inhaling, the left thigh closer to the floor. And this, if you ever feel like lower back problems, this is one of the best things you can do. If it's too much on your knee, you can hold underneath the thigh rather than over the calf. And maybe keep the other leg bent. And let's bring the left foot back on the floor. Inhale, stretch that right leg up. Exhale, bring your ankle over your knee. Notice how I've already flexed my feet. So my toes are coming straight back towards the front of my knee. And this doesn't move as I'm opening my hip out to the side. I'm going to push my ankle into my knee and then open the thigh. So if you're quite tight, you might just be here. And it's okay, but keep your ankle steady because you want to stretch your hip rather than your ankle. So try and find a comfortable place for your upper back on the floor. So both hips weighing equally into the ground. Both shoulders relaxed now. And maybe you're just going to breathe here. Or you can take a deep inhale, and on an exhale, lift the left foot up the floor and maybe holding underneath the thigh. Again, the angle between my foot and my shin hasn't changed. And you can stay here, or you can come back to the left foot on the floor. Inhaling, filling all of your upper body with breath. And exhale, maybe if there's space in your body, interlock the fingers over the front of the knee. Maybe not. I'm giving you all the options. You've got to pick the one that suits you. The one in which you can breathe the deepest. The one where you think, oh wow, that feels good. You know? Not the one where you're like, this is horrible, let's do it to myself. And notice your head and the position of your head now. Maybe wiggling the back of the neck, the top of the neck, a little away from the bottom of the neck. Letting the chin relax towards the throat. Letting more of the shoulder blades relax onto the floor. Noticing both sides of your ribs in contact with the ground. And take a deeper inhale. Loosen the stretch. Exhale. Relax the left foot down. Bring the right knee to your chest. Bring the left knee to your chest. Bring the right foot to the ground. Take a breath here. So maybe you're staying here with your left knee coming closer to you. Maybe you're holding underneath the left leg. And like if your back has really been at you, like just see if you can soften here, and you can transfer a little weight into that foot that's flat on the ground to kind of lengthen the back. And you're really trying to, like a lot of the lower back pain is, vertebrae being too close together and crunching discs or nerves being trapped. So you're going to try and like consciously put space between your vertebrae. So the bottom of your spine is going this way, and the top of your spine is going this way. Now, if that feels nice and you feel like you want a little more, then you extend the right leg. But you keep that same feeling of lengthening the spine. And when we're holding one leg to the chest and the other leg straight, we're lengthening the psoas, those muscles that hold the legs to the spine. The very strong muscles, you can't see them at all. They're going through your hips. They are the core muscles. So they are the core of your body. You cannot see them. They're responsible for, allowing you to stand and walk and keeping all that balance in your body. So they're really strong, and they can get really tight, especially if we've got a tendency to slouch on the couch or on a chair or sit, with your lower back really rounded, or if you're doing any kind of heavy lifting and you're not using the strength in your legs. And let's Bring the right foot back into the floor. Extend the left foot up, maybe a couple of ankle circles, and then bringing my toes towards my knee, bending the knee and bringing the knee outside. Breathing here, just noticing how I'm feeling, adjusting my body, both hips on the floor, equal weight on the right and the left side of my body. And maybe I'm just going to stay here, or I can lift the right foot off the ground and hold underneath the thigh. Breathing into the stretch. If I have space, I bring my hands towards the front of the right knee without letting my shoulders crunch up so much. So I keep drawing the top of my arms back down into the ground. Gotta be really mindful of the feelings in the knees here and keep the ankle steady, that foot flexion, toes going towards the knee, heel going out towards the outside. Letting my breath be really long. Gently breathe in here. Open the door for the cat. Come in. And around this leg. I'm going to slowly bring the right foot back down into the ground. Right leg to your knee, to your chest. Other leg to your chest as well. Maybe take a little happy baby pose. So holding underneath the thighs with the feet towards the ceiling. And it's just as good to, have your thighs as close to your upper body as you can in case you push over. Then really reaching for your knees and you put big pressure into your neck, into your shoulder, or if you reach for your feet. So really find what works for you. Going deeper into the pose isn't necessarily the right option for your body. Breathe into it. Again, looking for feeling of equal weight between the left and the right of the body. Trying to weigh the hips back down into the floor and the shoulders back down into the floor. And then exhale. Release the feet, bring the knees to your chest. Let your legs come long. Open your arms wide. If you need to get your blanket or your socks or anything, you do that now. And come down for Shavasana. So let your body really relax on the ground. And notice your breath. Notice the length of your breath. Breathe along the line of your spine. You can start at the very top of your spine. Imagine the breath radiating into your face. Inhaling a feeling of lightness. Exhaling, relaxing, finding the support of the ground underneath you. And take the next breath into your throat. Inhaling towards the front of the body, the ceiling. Exhaling, the back of the body and the ground. Keep your eyes gently closed. Your next breath in the center of your chest. Inhaling towards the sky. Exhaling towards the earth. And feel the breath moving from the center point in your body throughout all of the layers of the body. Notice what feels good, what feels a little tense. Whatever it is that you're feeling, don't judge it. Just notice it. And let your breath move to the center of your upper abdomen. So somewhere right below your lowest ribs, the top of your stomach, somewhere deep in there, in front of your spine, in the center of your body. As you breathe into that point, the awareness starts in that point with the inhale and with the exhale. And your breath is long. Notice how far your awareness travels from that point all the way out. Bring your next breath somewhere underneath your navel, in front of your spine. Breathing in towards the sky, out towards the earth. And the lightness and the steadiness. Take the next breath into your hips, center of your hips. Letting your awareness move down your legs, all the way to your feet. In towards the sky, out towards the earth. And then for the next few breaths, Pick whichever felt better for your body. Either one of those specific points or the whole body. Let your awareness really be deep inside, focusing all your attention on the slow rhythm of your breath and expanding the awareness to the different layers of your body and maybe out of the body towards the space and the ground. And slowly bring yourself back into the room. A little moment, turning your head from side to side. And really noticing the effects of the practice in your body and what your body needs for the rest of your day. As you slowly, stretch or roll or hug, slowly coming back. You spent all this hour looking after yourself. See if you can keep that awareness with you. And it could be in your body, it could be in your mind. The two of them are really linked. So, when in yoga you're doing something and there's a pose that doesn't feel good, and now you know that what you're supposed to do is find a place where it feels good and where you can breathe deep. And maybe you can apply the same to your thought processes. So sometimes you might find, and it's hard to just you have thoughts, we all have thoughts, but sometimes some thoughts are bringing anxiety, stress, some negative feelings. And the same way, you're in a twist and you're pinching your lower back or something. You're like, oh, hold on. I'm doing something to myself. I am doing something to myself, not external events. So it's, whatever thoughts you're having. So maybe you can notice that and come back to your breath and see if you can breathe deeply. And if you can't breathe deeply with those thoughts, maybe come back to just the breath, the feeling of inhaling towards the sky, the whole, expansion of the sky, which is so clear at the moment, how vast it is and how much air there is. And then exhaling into the ground, finding the earth, finding your strength, your roots, your core. And if you do that just for a few breaths, then you might find that, some thoughts you might have to go back to, but maybe you can go back to them more mindfully, in the same way you can do a lot of those poses more mindfully, and you have to, because I'm not there to see you doing it wrong, and, wrong as in you can't breathe in it, you can't smile, you're in pain. Don't do it to yourself. So, do a little yoga for the mind for the rest of your day. Here's my philosophical thought of the day. Let's bring our hands together, rub them for heat. Get all that good energy, good positive energy we've gathered in the practice today. Bring it into our faces, in our shoulders, our beautiful hearts, hips, knees, and feet. And back to your heart. Namaste. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on Monday morning. Bye.